Now, this is what my screen looks like when I come to trade every day. You've probably seen me post a screenshot of a chart with the gray background and the colorful lines, and you might not know what it's going on. What does this mean? So what we're going to do today is kind of backtrack and work our way forward to make your chart look like this. That's how we're going to move from part 1 of the video into part 2. But first, when you come to TradingView, this is what it's going to offer you. It wants you to sign up and create a membership with them, which I do recommend that you do, because you can sign up for free. Now, I already have an account, so we're going to just sign into my account here in a second. If I can just refresh this. So you're going to come to the top left of the screen if you'd like, and you already have an account. You can click sign in. It's got my password saved. We're going to log in like this, and now we're logged into my account. Now, I pay, well, they gave it to me because I make videos for them, which I appreciate, but I used to pay for the top tier premium membership because I wanted access to as much as I could. With the different tiers, you can't have as many indicators on your screen, or you can't get as quick of an update on the pricing of certain instruments, so getting to that top tier membership is important if you're really taking this seriously. Now, it is a little overwhelming when you look at this. We're looking at Bitcoin here on the daily time frame. How do I know that we're looking at Bitcoin on the daily time frame? Because I can see in the top left corner, BTC USD is what the asset is, the symbol that we're searching, and you can see the D is actually like kind of imprinted. It's actually blue while the rest of the time frames are gray. The first thing that we're going to do, the first thing that I always do, is I click the top left and I put the dark theme on because I can't stand that white. It like kills my eyes. So now that we're looking at it a little bit more properly, in my opinion, we can kind of piece our way through. We're going to start at the top left and work our way to the bottom right of the screen. At the top left, you can see this is like your general panel where you can save your chart layouts, you can quick search things, you can go to your account and adjust your billing, all of that stuff. And this is where you can even sign out. You can get the desktop app. All of that stuff is here in the top left. Beneath that, we're going to start to get into some of the tools that are used in doing analysis. The first section that you see at the top here, we have our crosshair, our dot, our arrow, and our eraser. Now, I have a yellow star next to the cross. What that does is it actually puts this cross tool on a floating favorites bar right here. As you can see it right here, my cross is on the right side of my floating favorites bar. This floating favorites bar is already preset because I'm logged into my account. But as you go through this, you'll see we have other stars. You can set this and you can copy mine, or you can set whatever ones you like. So I use the cross. That's my main thing from the top. Now we're going to move into trend lines. That's like the second section here on the left side. You can see I use trend lines, arrows, rays. Those are all starred. Same thing with horizontal lines, horizontal rays, and vertical lines. I don't really use any of these trend angles, extended lines, parallel channels. I just don't use it. I do have the anchored VWAP starred on here because I like to play with that sometimes, but it's not something I'm using often. So that's what I'm using in the trend line section here. Now beneath that, we'll get into like the Fibonacci's and the Gann boxes and the fib spirals and the pitchforks and all this crazy stuff. As you can see, I have none of this starred because I don't use any of this in my trading for any market. Forex, crypto, none of it. Beneath that, we have our drawing tools. I do recommend you use the brush, the rectangle, and the ellipse. Mostly the rectangle and the ellipse. I only use the brush when I'm doing a video like this and I want to draw on the chart like this, right? Now, when you use any of these tools, let's just say we draw that brush again, you'll notice another little pop-up flies in here where you can adjust the thickness of the line, the color of the line, you can adjust other settings within that line, its visibility across different time frames, and you can delete it. You can also lock it, which means that it can't be deleted or moved unless you go like this. Right-click on it, unlock, and then delete. So you have to unlock something that is locked, which is helpful sometimes in doing your analysis. So that's what we use for the drawing tools. Beneath that, we have our text tools. I'm only using the call out and the price label. The rest of this, it's only fun if you want to use it. I mean, you can do the balloons, you can do the tweets, you can do the signposts, you can do the notes, whatever you'd like to do. I'm not going to tell you not to. I'm only going to show you I'm using the call out and the price label. Beneath that, again, more of that crazy drawing stuff. Here's your Elliott waves, your time cycles, your ABCD patterns. It's great if you want to use it. I don't use it at all, as you can see. Now, beneath that, we have an important one, so don't overlook this. Here we have our long and short measurement tools, our price forecast tools, and our price range tools. So I would recommend starring all 5 of these and using them very often, because what a long position tool is going to do is, let's say we want to buy it here. It'll show us where our potential stop loss would be, down at the bottom in red. and our potential profit in green. We can drag it over to make it bigger. We can adjust the stop loss here. And what we can even do is double click on this, go to style, and make it brighter so we can see, turn up that opacity. Now, of course, I would never want it that bright, but I'm just showing you guys. You can turn up the opacity, and then it can actually change the parameters of that individual drawing tool. So the long measurement tools, the short measurement tools, they're a must. Very easy to use. And then beneath that, we've got all the fun little like airplane things, stuff that's just not important, in my opinion. Further down on the left side here, we have our measurement tool. You can also use this by hitting the shift button. So it kind of draws a ruler where you have to tap twice, once for your starting point, once for your ending point. If you just hold shift on your keyboard and click once, and then click again, you'll have the first point start, you drag, click again for the second point, and that'll paint this measurement tool for you. Whereas you can see, this is an 80% gain over 50 days, 50 bars, because we're looking at a daily time frame. And it also tells you the volume that was traded in that time frame. So the measurement tool is useful if you're just trying to do a quick measurement and you don't want to use the long or short tool that I have here in the floating toolbar. Beneath that, we have our magnifying glass to zoom in. You can do that also just by scrolling, right? With your two fingers, if you have a trackpad like me, or with your mouse wheel. Underneath that, the magnet tool, what this is going to do is it snaps everything to a grid. I don't really need it. I don't use it, so it stays off. Here, this is your stay in drawing mode tool. Don't need that either. This is lock all drawing tools if you'd like to use that, hide all drawing tools, or delete your drawings as well. So that's your left side of the screen here on TradingView. Now back to the top left corner, you'll see we have that symbol. We talked about Bitcoin being the symbol we're looking at right now. And then you'll have time frames detailed along the right side. You might not when you first start TradingView because you don't have any favorited. But if you click the drop down arrow here, you'll see I have these few time frames, 6, 7 time frames starred here, and that's why they pop up right here on this top if you would call it top bar of the screen. So we have the 15-minute, the 5-minute, the 1-minute, all the time frames that I need. And you can click individually to them and it'll just hop the chart to them. The other thing about TradingView that's really cool is if you're just typing here on the screen, let's say we're looking at Bitcoin, but we want to go to Euro USD, you can just start typing Euro USD, make sure you're under all, and then you'll see all the different Euro USDs that they offer at different brokerages right here. So I use Owanda, so we could just click on Owanda and it'll pop us right to here. Now let's go back to Bitcoin really quick. If you're looking at, let's say, the Bitcoin 15-minute time frame and you want to hop to a different time frame quickly, you can just type in 1, enter, and it'll drop you to a 1-minute time frame, or 5, enter, 5-minute, 3, enter, 3-minute. So you can hop to them quickly there as well. Next to the time frames at the top bar here at the top of the screen, top left corner, we have our candles, how you want to paint them. Do you want to paint price as bars, candlesticks, hollow candles, line charts, area charts, Heikin-Ashi, Renko, all this crazy stuff. I use candles, simply put. That's all. Now, next to the candles, we have a couple of cool tools. The first one is the compare or add symbol. So let's just say you want to see Bitcoin compared to SPX, which is the S&P 500. You can click that, and it'll actually chart that on the same screen for you. Now, on the 3-minute chart, it's a little wonky. On the daily chart, it's a little bit easier to read. Now, this orange line going across the bottom, that's the S&P 500, SPX. So if we get rid of that, and let's put on a crypto, let's go to compare again. Let's look at Bitcoin, and let's look at Doge, right? We like Doge USD. So now you can see, here's Dogecoin down here on the bottom, and it's based on a percentage return now. It changed the price on the right side of the screen from just regular old price to percentage change. Compare tool is just fun. It's not necessary to use. It's just fun to have. You have the indicator box next to the compare box. We're going to go into the indicators in a second. Next to that, we have the financials, which is something I don't really use. It's helpful if you trade stocks. You can save your templates, which is useful. Once we have the chart set up, we'll save a template. Next to that, you have your, what does this do? This A here, I don't even know. Oh, that's the template itself right there. I have it start. See, I don't even use this, so that's why. Alert is next to that. You can set up alerts in any way that you'd like. And then the replay tool, the bar replay tool is very useful if you're someone who doesn't have the pro version. You won't have access to this, but it basically will rewind a chart so you can go back in time and do some chart markups and do some chart study to see how things would play out. Let me get rid of these indicators. So that's what the bar replay tool does. And that pops up a little free floating bar right here where you can choose the speed of how it plays forward. You can choose to play it forward bar by bar. You can skip all the way to the end. All of that stuff is fun to play with in the replay tool, and that's useful when you're doing your back testing. Next to that, we have the undo and redo tools. If you do something accidentally, you can do Command Z, or you can hit these two buttons at the top. So now moving to the right side of the screen. The first thing you'll see is the layout. Now with your plan, with what tier you pay for, you'll have different layouts available. I like to use a 2-chart layout where I have my 15-minute chart on the right side and my 1-minute chart on the left side. So that's what we're going to rock with right now. Beyond that, I like to have the crosshair and the symbol and the drawings synced up for the most part. Right now, since we're not doing a lot of drawings, we can turn the drawings off. But in here, you can sync it up so that if you're looking at different charts, they stay on the same time, or they stay on the same chart time frame, or they stay on the same symbol. All of that can be determined with the layout tool here in the top right. So now that you're starting to build the chart the way that you like it, you want to start to save this and either building a chart layout or building a template, the template being the thing I just showed you. So on the right side of the screen, top right here, we can hit this little drop-down menu and hit Save New Chart Layout or Load a Previous Chart Layout. So let's just say we're going to load a new one, start fresh. This is exactly what it would look like as unnamed, right? If we wanted to come in, let's go back to our previous one, and let's save it now that we have two charts popped up. We can hit Save. It'll give us a name. Let's just put 111. And now that chart layout is going to be labeled 111 here in the top right. So if we ever log in, hit Load, 111 is right here. And you can see I have my other charts that I use as well. So that's how you save. Now, next to the save feature, we have the chart properties feature. We're going to go into that in a minute. Next to that, you've got the full screen. If you want to go full screen, not necessary in my opinion. Then you've got the camera. This is where I save my chart markup. So I always do Command Control S, or I just come in here and click Save Chart Image, and this takes a picture of it that you can then save to your downloads, as you just saw it popped up right in my downloads right here. Publish is something that you can use if you want to publish your ideas here on TradingView. There's a whole social aspect of TradingView that we could go into in a different video, but I don't use it, so I'm not going to talk about it. Now, as we go down the right side of the screen, you'll see we have our watch list tool here. Now, your watch list is going to look different. To open or close the watch list, you just click it. I've built this watch list based on what I like to trade, so you can do the same thing. The way that you do that is you just hit Add Symbol, you search it, you hit the little plus mark here, or you hit Enter on it, and it's going to drop it to the bottom of the list. So you come to the top. Once you start to build the list, you can even segment them out into smaller lists. Like I have my base pairs here. Then I have, if you take a look, I have my Asian session pairs here, and they'll change. So you can build custom watch lists. Now, in my favorites list, I have tabs in here. See how I have a study tab, a crypto tab, an indices tab. You can create these tabs by just adding or removing sections by right-clicking in on the watch list. Add section, add symbol, all of this can be added. And then you can even add it to different lists. Just right-click in and play with it. You can put different flag colors on it, all that fun stuff. Beyond that, if you click this drop-down menu, you can control how big the column is. I only look at percent change and last value. I don't need any of the other things. If you wanted to add them in, you could. It just makes the bar bigger on the right side, and I just think it's unnecessary at that point. So that's why I don't really use any of that. Now, as you come further down the right side, underneath the watch list, this is for you to play with. Here's alerts if you want to use alerts. I don't use them very often, as you can see. You've got the data window, headlines for the day, stocks that are moving, hot stocks that are up, stocks that are down. A news calendar is here, a lot of fun stuff. And then, of course, the social aspect, people giving feedback on your trade ideas or you looking at other people's trade ideas. All of that takes place on the right side here. But come down to the bottom. This is where we have our order panel. This is where we're going to connect in part 3 of the video, and I'm going to show you how to place some trades through TradingView. But let's go to the bottom of the screen. I just want you to see a few more things about the functionality. We have two little squares here at the bottom right. The first square is going to maximize the chart that you're looking at. If you have a two-chart layout, the first square, if you click it, see how this one is highlighted in blue? It's going to blow that one up. If I click on this side, now it'll blow this one up. So that's your maximize screen. Now, I always have my chart set to auto. I don't do log or percent change, but you can do that. You can have your time zone set here as well. I'm in New York, so I like to go UTC -5. That changes the time at the bottom. So you have to make that change, of course, when you get started, depending on where you live. And then, of course, at the bottom, you have your higher time frames: 1 day, 5 day, 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, year to date, showing you some higher time frame stuff. Beneath that, we have our panel for demo trading, live trading. We have our strategy tester panel, Pine Editor to make your own indicators if you'd like. You have your Forex scanner. You can use it as a stock scanner if you'd like. There's a ton of fun stuff that you can do here. I don't use it, but it's there for you if you'd like it.